Welcome to another video, everybody. Today we're going to be tackling a lot of projects and making this garage more of my dream garage. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Luckily, my father has been doing drywall for over 20 years, so he had all the knowledge, supplies, and tools to go over the tape that was already on the walls in my garage so that we could get a nice drywall finish, and after paint it could be sleek and looking good. After a few days of that drywall mud drying, we could move on to actually prepping the garage for paint. And then I also wanted to throw up some shelves, so I'm here building an extension of the shelf. And we're going to move my workbench up, just basically raise it and use that as a shelf. And my dad is prepping the garage to use a spray painter. So now we're just bringing that old bench top up and nailing it in place with the add-on. So here's what we're looking like before paint, and wow, it's crazy to see the transformation that happens later. It was time for both of us to don some goofy hoods and masks, as you can see, and we sprayed the walls and ceiling and then also went over it with a roller to complete a consistent texture. On this we were able to get one layer with the 5-gallon paint bucket, and we got about 3/4 of the way through with some paint from my house over top of that primer. I would say the spraying was worth it for the primer because it was new and it had no problems. It was very easy to spray and good. But the second layer that we put on was from my house and just what we had when we moved in. And that stuff was chunky and it kept clogging the nozzle. And I would not recommend it for older paints, especially because the prep time was much more extensive.
So yeah, I've got everything done that I want. The walls are painted, everything is hung, and then everything is organized and on the shelf that I want. So we're in a good place. I'll throw up what those look like over my face right here. I did run out of paint. I was just using the house paint that came with my house when I bought it, but it was not enough. And I do have one wall that still is kind of streaky, but it's not that big of a deal. Eventually I'll get back to it and paint it again. The next thing that I want to work on is actually putting in some more lights. These are little 4-foot guys. This one's an 8-pack. You can tell these lights do work well. They're like little LED guys, but they have really bad shadows, and the 8-pack will kind of just go along. This process was super easy. I just screwed the clips that went into the ceiling, and these little lights just clipped right into it and they just connected to each other. It came with a plug to plug into the wall that had a switch on it. So that is what I'm currently using. And I did extend a couple of the plugs that go to each other via soldering, but that's not needed. And it was a super easy install with a ladder. Here's just a quick layout of what the lights look like. We got 2 of them over my workbench. And then got that one going to here. Here is the door into my house. And then we got another one there, there, and one more. And garage doors over here. Looks great. I know you already saw us hang this workbench top, but we're moving on to disassembling this real fast. I just wanted to show you that, and then also building the new one. As you can see, I'm just using that little shelf that's on my larger one to make the new one with the same legs and reattaching the vise. So I actually think that I have a little bit of a problem, but in this case I think it'll help out the garage a little bit. This is my problem. I like to keep around stuff that seemingly is pointless. This is actually an old dishwasher front that I kind of took apart and just salvaged that. It's a metal front, but in this case I'm actually gonna cut it into a square using the good old
Still Demon. And we're gonna put it on the workbench. I'm actually gonna use the bottom, strip the paint on here, and maybe it'll make a good little surface for welding. I also wanted to add some wheels and a little shelf for my welder, and here's that process.
Here's what the bench is looking like. We got this thing on now. As you can see, this was the dishwasher top. I just screwed it in a couple places, and it's mostly flat, not perfect. You can see that I can weld on it now, and I have done a little bit already. Ground clamp can go in and just clamp right there, and then we have conductivity throughout the whole thing. And you can see the welder's still out. Got vise and whatnot we can weld on. And then the tool shed works really well in there. The shelf is perfect for the welder and storing some things under. A couple little clamps, a few more clamps. After reviewing some of the footage for this video, I really missed that really long workbench. I may go back and do one, but I want to get my dirt bike in here, see what kind of storage I'm working with at the front here. But obviously that just went up, and I kind of miss it already, so maybe we'll go back.
Sorry the garage is a bit of a mess, but we're doing all the installs today. We're also going to insulate this garage door. It's a pretty big door. We're also going to put some weather stripping on the outside, so let's get to it. I just used some 1.5" foam boards with one side foil backed, and I just cut them into place with a razor blade and then went over the edges with tape to kind of secure them in there, even though they were pretty secure, but it also helps with the insulation. It is snowing slightly out here. I can't really see it on here, but it's the best weather for a few days. So I'm going to put some weather stripping on the door here, just with some of this guy. And yeah, I won't film that. I'll just show you the after. We're gonna weather seal the whole thing. Now we're here. It's the next day. I did finish when it was a little dark, so that's why. But we got this all in. Definitely do not recommend using the nails if you ever get a kit like this. Just do some screws or some better nails. But this is all good to go.
The garage door has all the foam and tape done. I gotta say, this is probably the biggest change. It's not been only functional, but it's also looked a lot better, and I really enjoy how this is.
Time for the before and after. I almost forgot to do the video advice for you today, and if you didn't know, last video I did go into that I'm going to do advice at the end of every video, just because I'm on a journey of self-development, and if I can spread that word, then I would love to do so. So today we're actually going off of me forgetting, and we need to keep our lives organized. We can do this in many different ways. We need frameworks, and this is myself included for sure. You know, I'm preaching to myself as well with this, but we need to organize our stuff and organize our lives, as well as clean them up I've often heard that how your surroundings look, your physical environment, is often where your mental space is. And when we're crowded by all this junk and just inefficient stuff, then we are not living our lives to the most potential. And I was just thinking about it. We can say, we should do this, but I need a call to action, and I want to give you guys a call to action too, or a challenge for you to complete and actually take this advice and use it in a tactful way. So just look around you. If you have a lot of junk, pick that up, organize it, put it where it belongs. Everything should have a place. As you can see, I am also doing pretty bad at this, so I'm gonna clean this up real fast and do that. But then also, if you are pretty organized, just pick up after yourself whenever you can. Just in every moment, to do a little bit is a lot easier than at the end when there's a lot to clean up, and you work so much more efficiently.
I believe that's all that I have for you. I really appreciate you watching this video. I know these aren't going to do as well because, well, these type of videos aren't going to do as well because I did mainly get all the subscribers for this Forerunner here. And I'm going to go back to actually doing these, and when a project outside of that comes up, I most likely will make it on a different channel. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, I will be just saying stuff in these videos to go over to that one and check those out. But I really appreciate all the help. We got a ton of projects done, and I'm just so excited to get to work on this. Next video, we are going to get back to working on this, so stay tuned for that. Really appreciate it. Hope you subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much. We'll see you.